So why run for governor? Why run for governor?
Well, the big reason I'm running for governor.
Can you pull up his website, please?
Well, thank you for that. I am tired of seeing what's happening in California. All my friends are leaving. People are getting squeezed out, and it's because we have a very oppressive regime of
Stay at the top, guy. Stay at the top. We'll go through it here.
Trying to tell you how to live your life and how to run your life. Taxes are too high. We're ranked 40th in schools. It's ridiculous. We should be ranked 1 in schools in California with the money that we collect. And we get misled by our leaders. You know, we get told we have a surplus. Meanwhile, we're going $12 billion in debt to forgive people's traffic tickets. It's some of the things that are going on. Some of the policies feel really criminal. The voters of California legalized cannabis in 2016. 90% of cannabis businesses are still struggling with provisional licenses to even be remotely legal. And so most people still sell it illegally.
So, Kev, let me ask you, so what does that do to? You said policies, right? Due to policies. Are those liberal policies or are those capitalistic, conservative policies?
Well, my big thing is I believe that the first thing we need is a leader that focuses on solving the real issues that we have. And there are 4 massive ones: housing, schooling, homelessness, traffic. To me, those are bipartisan priorities.
Can you say that one more time? Housing, homelessness?
Housing, homelessness, traffic, schools. Those are bipartisan priorities. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat.
Yep.
Nobody wants to see homeless people dying on the street. We have more people dying on the street to homelessness than we do to gun violence in California. We've got ridiculous traffic. We talked about schools already, and housing's unaffordable. We know that, so people are getting squeezed out. On top of that, we tax at some of the highest tax rates in the country. So it feels like taxation without representation.
What kind of a Democrat are you? You're running as a Democrat, but not a lot of your policies seem like Democratic policies. Like, it doesn't sound like a Newsom policies. It doesn't sound like a Brown policy. It doesn't even sound like an Arnold policy. Some of your policies are even a little bit further right than Arnold's would be. So how do you see yourself as a Democrat?
I see them as Californian policies. I think what are the problems that we have?
Yeah.
And then how can we reasonably solve them? And in my opinion, we have incredible opportunities to stop wasting money on things like the high-speed rail. They're spending $125 million a mile on a high-speed rail that's going from Bakersfield up to NorCal. Why? They say it's for economic benefits.
It's a joke.
Cato did a study on it. They said economically it's break-even at best over 70 years, and it'll take that long to be carbon neutral. It's a waste of money.
Well, if you're going to go that far, go all the way. Say why it's costing that much money. Who owns the land and who's selling it?
Well, let's also be real about this.
Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, Gavin Newsom. We'll be honest, it's public record.
Hey, you know what else is public record is the husband of Dianne Feinstein donates to Gavin Newsom's recall campaign, and he is a contractor on the high-speed rail.
Is that so? There you go.
Just Google it.
So I mean, if you're going to use bipartisanship as a talking point, which I applaud you for, you have to be willing. Accountability is the first part of bipartisanship.
You know what you need is transparency. You need a YouTuber in government so we can do daily vlogs and show what it's really like back there. How many shady contracts are going out when you're making YouTube videos going, these are the options we got. We got this contract from Tesla. We got this one from Ford, and we got this one for this. What's the best one? It becomes a whole lot easier to stop seeing money go to shady places when you're transparent about it.
Absolutely.
But the more and more regulation they have, the more money gets funneled into dark pools and dark ways of spending. The more restrictions, the more California tries to enter your life, the shadier it actually gets.
So let me go back to the question. By the way, great job on deflecting 3 times.
There it was.
I'm going to go back.
Yes.
I'm going to go.
Welcome to the Thunderdome, bitch.
What it takes. You have what it takes. FYI, just so you know, here's what you need to know.
Let's hear it.
I am so glad you're running.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
You have to know, I am so glad you're running. I am so glad you're running in a state that I lived in for 24 years. Wow. I'm glad a guy like you is running.
Well, why'd you leave?
Let's go. I'll tell you. But let's go back to it. So let's go back to it. So as a Democrat, everybody who is a Democrat or Republican, they have somebody that they say he was a good president. I like the way he did it. Who's your guy?
Look, I think I'm a policy guy. I look at answers. I'm not trying to deflect you. I look at policies. Look, I think there are great things that Obama did. Some things were great. A lot of things weren't great.
What did you like? What did you like about what he did?
Look, there are some things that were good that Trump did too, right? And there's some things that Trump did that weren't great. I am so in the middle. I don't love identity politics.
I agree with you, though. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't see, and here's where I'm going with this. I'm going with I think it's time. But by the way, I'm not trying to corner you.
No,
I want to
right
hear
on.
you say what you
Yeah.
liked Obama. I want to hear you say what you liked about Trump.
Yeah.
But I think we're at a time where there are people on the left who don't identify with today's left.
Yeah,
There are
totally.
people on the right that do not identify with today's right. That's why we have MAGA, what MAGA have. But there are Republicans that do not identify with MAGA. There's a lot of people that don't identify with MAGA. I just thought, maybe when I was looking, I said, okay, Kevin's going to be running. You did one thing, guy sent me a video saying this guy's running. I said, I would love to see this guy run. Because what it would do is it would inspire. You know how when Reagan ran, Hollywood, remember the whole movie, Michael J. Fox, when they go all the way back and says, oh, you know the actor? You know the B actor?
Oh,
he's
yeah,
going to be a
right.
president. It's like,
Right.
he's going to be president? That guy's your president. No, he's not. The actor, yes. But he opened it up for other people. If it's not Reagan, Trump's probably not running because Trump's just kind of like, well, I'm going to go do it, right?
Sure.
I think it's a time where we have a candidate that runs and shakes it up on the independent side. I don't think you're a Democrat. I think you're independent.
Wow.
By the way, I don't see you as a Republican either, so I don't see you as a
Pat,
Republican.
can I ask him like a follow-up
I'd love
to you?
to, yeah.
Okay,
Bring it
you know,
on.
you're a young, smart, strategic guy. I mean, you're very successful. You get instant feedback, being a YouTuber and everything. So you have a hand on the pulse.
and bad.
Okay, but listen, you have to be strategic if you're going to do what you do. You'd have no chance to win if you came out as a Republican. Was part of your strategy to become a Democrat or run as a Democrat because it would at least get you in the door and maybe have a shot?
My belief is I'm so in the middle that I've been a registered Democrat, and to me, I feel like I'm a 51-49. That's where I feel like I am. So when you're asking me for, specifically this president or this, that, or whatever, it's so close. It's so close. But I'll tell you this, and this is not something I flip-flopped. I've been registered since I was 18. As a Democrat in California, I understand that California has a supermajority of Democrats. California, if a Republican gets in, California is wasting the next year. Because the next year under
Exactly.
Republican means Democrats just block it until the next election to get a Democrat in
Which
again.
is the next
It's
year
very interesting.
for the
It's
governor.
1 year.
So
Yeah.
two follow-ups on that. It's very, very interesting. We did an interview with Ron Paul, and Pat asked him straight up. You can actually watch the interview on Valuetainment. Asked him straight up, "You're a libertarian. You're not a Republican. Why did you run as a Republican?" And you remember what he said? He goes, "I wanted to win."
You can as an independent.
He said, I would have never won my county I would have never won my
But I
seat.
tell you one thing, Gerard. Here's where I go with that. I think today, by the way, even when you're asking him questions, it's like, well, I like Obama's policies, Trump's policies. What is it? Well, it's just I don't want to do identity politics.
Yep.
People are scared today to run and just kind of be locked into a community,
course,
right?
yeah.
But here's where I go with you. This is where I go with you. I'm telling you, when I think about Blue Ocean Strategy, take Blue Ocean Strategy. You know the concept of Blue Ocean Strategy, the book, increase, decrease, eliminate, create, right? Increase, decrease, eliminate, create. By the way, take a minute and grab something too. You haven't had something yet. So if there's ever been a time, go to the if there's ever been a time. The whole thing. If there's ever been a time where you should buy gold, today's the time. If there's ever been a time where you should invest in
no greater
cryptocurrency,
time.
That's right, right? If there's ever been a time where you can actually run in the middle with the argument of, are you like this be my campaign? Yeah. Are you on the right, but you don't fully identify with everything people are saying on the right? Are you on the left and you fully don't identify with everything that's being said on the left? For example, if you're a Democrat, you're a registered Democrat, and you're a Kennedy Democrat, maybe you're a Bill Clinton Democrat, good president, right? Forget about what he did.
Not a communist.
He was a good, not a communist, but he was a good president, right?
Not
Bill
a
Clinton.
commie.
Okay, maybe you relate with a Bill Clinton Democrat, right? Maybe you relate with a different kind of a Republican, not a Trump Republican. Time for a third party, and let's go get the independent. Ron Paul got close. Our buddy, the Texas, what's his name?
Ross Perot.
Ross Perot got close.
18%.
I think if there's ever been a time to do that, I think it's today. So why don't we do this? Before we get into
Let's
grill
hear
you a
it.
little bit more, can you pull up the website to just go through some of his policies? Kai, just pull up the website. Okay.
Where's the money in the middle come from, Pat?
From people like us. I swear to God. People like us have money. There's people like us. Independents have money. You have to understand, independents are very wealthy. People don't realize how much money is in the independent camp. Independents are sitting saying, somebody had the balls to go run on independent. Let me come and be your flag carrier.
I'll tell you the
I'm
problem
going
with
to
that.
come and back you up. Now, his position, like same reason why Trump didn't run on independent. Trump's not a Republican.
No.
Trump's never been a Republican. No. Trump's probably independent, maybe center or left a little bit.
Used the
Democrat
probably a Democrat at one time.
He's not a Republican.
Absolutely.
But he knew he had to do it to kind of win. So you kind of have to go to a party. The state he's in, can you imagine if he ran as a Republican? They destroyed this guy. If he ran
You
as a
get no
Republican.
media coverage whatsoever. I mean,
well, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Why do we have a two-party system in this country? It's because when you want a campaign manager, the good ones are either on the Democratic Party or they're on the Republican Party. There's no good campaign manager that's really trying to run a business at some other party, at least that I can find anywhere.
Well, to Pat's points, because there's no money there.
Well, maybe that's exactly all the money's funneling into the party funnels, and so that's where the jobs are. And so here's what happens. You know how hard it is to run a campaign in California as a Democrat when if any Democrat from California I hire is immediately branded as being anti-Newsom and being part of the Republican recall.
He's done.
It's really hard.
I can see that.
That person's entire career. Now,
yeah.
well, you supported a recall.
Yeah.
You know, it's a disaster how aligned, how party identified it is. So that's why I'm running on Fix California. I'm running on my big 5 priorities. We've got rallies coming up this weekend and next weekend, and we've got a 20-point plan. The top 5 priorities are the ones we've been talking about.
Well, let's do this, folks. If you got questions, send your questions on Twitter at Patrick Bet-David, hashtag PBD Podcast, hashtag PBD Podcast. We'll address some of the questions. But let's go through your website. If you have him into his website, this is his website, meetkevin.com. So here's his plan. You got plans in Fresno, Sacramento, San Bernardino, San Diego is going all over the place. Go why yes on recall, keep going up a little bit. California is beautiful. We've just lost our edge. Why yes on recall. False claim, governor claim. We have $75.7 billion in surplus. California suggesting fact. He's going through the numbers. Keep going lower. Because on the bottom, I think he's got what he stands for. Keep going lower, keep going lower, keep going lower.
There you go.
Number 1, no homelessness in our streets within 60 days.
Bingo.
That's number 1. Number 2, massively reducing crime through new community-style policing and integration with future schools. Number 3, future schools and $2,000 per month for each attendee over 18 years old. Interesting. We'll come back to that one. Making housing affordable. Okay, keep going. Ending bad traffic and better roads that also pay us. Next, no state income taxes on the first $250,000 of income. Fully legalized gambling.
On that one.
Fixing our immigration issues. No more blackouts, no COVID 2.0 lockdowns, lowering the cost of gas, leading our unions, nonprofit agencies, and business, higher pay for teachers, firefighters, and police, massive fire prevention effort. That's big right there. A lot of people, that's number 14, but that could be big for the people that are close to that. They're affected by that a lot. Ending our water shortage, big issue in California, substantially reducing gun violence, the underground handy person economy, energy and homes, new net negative communities, day 1 executive action, and in California transition bond. So you got all these things. The 14
I want to vote for that. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want that.
That
is a California that works.
That to me sounds like a Republican or an independent running. Okay, that's what to me sounds like. Which is, by the way, again, I get it. I understand why.
But I think you said you're a Republican or independent. That means you like it so much you want it to identify with your side.
No, I don't. I just understand. Look, so at this point, everybody knows who we sat with last week. Okay, everybody knows who we sat with last week.
Okay.
On the McAfee video that I did yesterday, you know, we had a full day with Giuliani last week at his place. Full day, few hours of interview, and some of the stuff he said. Let me just put it to you this way. We put on YouTube. YouTube's not going to be happy. They can't buy YouTube, right? And it's out of control, to say the least. So now, here's the message that comes back. The message is, hey, you shouldn't be afraid of freedom of speech. You should put it up there and all this other stuff. And yeah, okay, YouTube has the right to also give you a strike and kind of mess up with your platform, all this other stuff. You know how that works out. Because when you're around...
You know, I covered Trump rallies as well as Biden rallies. I cover both.
Well, there was not too many Biden rallies, but that's...
Fair. Yeah. But I would cover them. I've literally had Trump rallies that I would just cover from a news POV. Hey, let's see what is being said. Completely deleted from my channel. Just completely removed.
Really?
Never had a Biden one removed. And YouTube will just send me a notification.
Why do you think?
You know, they use the incite violence argument, so they've gone through and then, well, he said this here, so delete it.
It's not like you're a pro-Trump guy. You're not going up there saying this guy's the greatest of all time. You're just kind of giving your commentary.
There's no such thing as leftist violence.
They didn't want
in this
people
country,
to see
so there's
the
that.
energy, the excitement.
I don't know what it is, but it's you do see that. So there is, and unfortunately, that as somebody who covers news very neutrally on my channel, that does kind of mold what you want to cover.
Yeah.
Because do I want to spend 3 hours covering something
That's
and then
right.
they're like, guess what? You're getting paid nothing.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.